What's going on? Boys, thanks to our patrons and Fiverr customers, subscribe to our Patreon free for behind the scenes stuff, arm yourselves, life stuff. I hate nausea and I hate feeling sick because they force you to reckon with yourself in absence of anything else. You ever noticed the way, even if you're a person of faith and spirituality and all these things, all that shit goes straight out the window the moment you feel like you're about to vomit? Nausea is a vacuum. It is true nihilism. And it's even worse because when you're in one of these states, you can't just turn those, quotes, higher parts of your mind off. They're like engines that have stalled out, and there is some automatic restart procedure you can't do anything about, and every time they try to restart, they make the situation worse, and they make themselves seem even more pointless. But it's interesting because you do end up with another appraisal of yourself. A seed of doubt of everything that's both important to have and also steeped in a true misery. Oh man, YouTube has been showing me lots of videos about death lately, and so many popular sentiments about the way death is peaceful, and we are talking bullshit popular sentiment today, but we'll get to that. I almost drowned when I was a kid, and it wasn't peaceful, it hurt, it was terrifying, I still remember it. I had MRSA as a kid. That didn't kill me, but it wasn't fun. And you have these moments you're terribly sick, or you're terribly nauseous, and you just know if you don't die suddenly, that's the way you're going out. In pain, powerless, with nothing but these rotors trying to spin up and making the situation worse, and leaving you with only the worst and, God forbid, probably the factual. What are you when you aren't allowed to float around in brain land or to run around in material land? What are you when you are just a consciousness in a decaying or dying body? You are nothing but fear and RPMs that, if they aren't put towards something or aren't able to be put towards something, will rip themselves apart. That's one of the reasons I'm skeptical of any system of any thought, including mine. Because when you get down to that level, all you are is something that needs to go on and also can't go on. Nausea makes you want to vomit up all the lies. But let's talk about hope and grudges, and we'll try to be quick about it. One of the psychopaths is beginning to become a problem again, and I've loosely been keeping track of him. And it's odd because he has been screwing people over the way he screwed me over, and worse in their cases because they actually had a lot more to lose. But he's also been gathering even more sycophants. And I don't remember if I said it in the Patreon or in a video or even in one of those comments, but the reason I didn't want to draw a conclusion on Jake from the dream as strictly me is somewhere I said, usually when you encounter a dreadful part of yourself, usually you'll be going up against a mirror match. And who'da thunk that's the case. It's almost like there's a pattern to these things. Except when you feel nauseous, and then you just want to die. Anyway, we are thinking about hope and grudges in relation to that sort of person, or in relation to my sort of person. But there is a difference, and it's a difference I cultivate, and it has everything to do with the deployment of hope. Because you look at people like this, people who are climbers, who betray often, and you wonder why not only do they retain their followers, but also gather more and they get more zealous. Well, first, as they watch one of these people betray, it is the arrogance of believing it can't happen to you, or you're different or better in some way, and the fact it hasn't happened to you proves that, the survivorship bias thing. But I also think it has a lot to do with hope, which ties into what we were talking about last time. I don't think it's just a matter of fearing breaking this tension. Hope is blinding and addictive. If someone knows what to say to you to make you, because again, life is all about the way you feel about life, not about what life is, which is why nausea is truth. If someone knows how to make you feel better about your circumstances by promising you some brighter future and maybe suggesting to you ways to get it in ways you'll find believable, most people will like that person. That's why gurus are popular, that's why self help is, and probably always will be, booming, despite the fact things only ever get worse. And if you want to control people in a way I find distasteful, you use hope. And I'm pretty sure that's how and why this dude maintains his following. He knows how to give people something to believe in, and people will do and sacrifice anything for what they believe in if that thing makes them feel better or feel secure. That's why I strongly recommend you don't hope for anything. In all situations, assume the worst, multiply it by 2, and move it in a direction you wouldn't normally expect, and operate on that assumption. Assume this moment that you're living right now will be the last palatable one you'll ever live. Now, things won't always be that bad, but when you think that way, you start making more strategic decisions based around the truths of the world. And you're also less likely to be kept in suspense. Now, you'll still hope, and you'll still be kept in suspense, but trying to live without hope makes you a lot more effective as a person and more efficient. And of course, there's a level above this level that I'm operating on or try to operate on, in which you know how to do what I'm talking about while also hoping, and I'm certain every single one of you watching this is a smart cookie who knows how to do this. But even if you do, one day you will be forced to confront your sick, nausea self, those truths about the world. So you better know how to do this, even if this isn't the state you exist in or try to exist in at all times. Hope is a noose. And then grudges. People act like forgiveness is this very difficult thing to do, but you should do, because it allows you to stop walking around with all this pressure that's difficult to bear. And that's stupid. Forgiveness is very easy specifically for that reason, because it feels so good. Because when you forgive, you no longer, or feel you no longer need to walk around with this anger and with your gun at your hip. But the thing is, people don't change. If they did something to you that you believe you would need to forgive them for, if they trespassed against you in that way, they'll do it again if you let them. And when you forgive people, not only are you letting them do it again, but also you're inviting them to. Because what you're saying when you forgive someone, even if you forgive them only inside, it's like you're in a war room and you have this big map of this front, and you're saying, that's too stressful, I can't walk around feeling that way. Let's just ball up this map and throw it away and not need to think about it anymore. That's a very easy thing to do. And when you do it, maybe you'll get to enjoy a bit of time not worrying about this war, but it'll catch up to you. Even if the example is, let's say, somebody wronged you and they died, and now you're going to forgive them for what they did, so you can move on, you'll notice what happens is another person exactly like them comes along and does to you exactly what they did to you. And you were able to do it because you let your guard down by forgiving, thinking that you can't be hurt anymore in this way because the person died, failing to realize a person didn't hurt you, a force of nature hurt you, channeled through one vessel. One vessel dies, another takes its place. Or maybe 5 come at you all at once. You need to hold on to grudges. It's hard to do. It's painful. But it's like the equivalent of keeping your rifle raised at all times. It's heavy. It's heavier than you think it is. It wears your arms out. It exhausts you mentally and physically. But if you don't, if you choose to forgive, or I'd say let yourself forgive, because that's the natural state you want to move to so you don't need to worry about this anymore, you'll get swarmed and you'll be totally unprepared. So don't follow the typical shitty advice. There is nothing noble about disarming yourself. If you want to disarm yourself and give up that responsibility and throw off that weight, that is fine. You can do that, but don't fool yourself and try not to drag other people down with you. You know it's been a shitty day because we managed to cover everything we needed to cover in 12 minutes. And I was thinking about Megalobox earlier. What a tremendous 2 seasons of a show, good lord. And while I was clarity pissing, I fired up the phone and listened to a little bit of El Canto del Colibri. What a beautiful song. What a surprising and gut-punching second season of a show. It's been a long time since I watched it. But do you ever get those moments you just need to break down crying and your body won't let you? It's not going to happen right now when it's perfectly safe and everything is fine. It's like actual constipation, which I've also been dealing with again lately. It's guaranteed you'll start sobbing and shitting at the worst moment possible. Guaranteed. But because you are trying to live without hope, and because you hold a grudge against your own soul, you can know that will happen and plan around it. You can plan around your own bullshit. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.